Welcome to the Top 5. This is a podcast where a group of friends sit around and talk about our top 5 favorites in multiple topics like video games, comic books, TV shows, and movies. We hope you enjoy the show. Hey all, welcome to Top 5. I am your moderator, Frank, and we have...
Squeeze!
And... I mixed it up on you.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like change. What's going on?
Alright, that's Joe.
Joe, Fortnite sucks.
There you go. Good note.
And John, what's going on?
As a guy who was literally playing Fortnite yesterday with my nephew.
What? How was that? Do you have any controversial tweets you need to talk about?
Playing Fortnite. And Joe, the reason I skipped you at first is because you're going to be our judge on this one. And we have top 5 90's action movies.
Yeah.
Any little qualifiers we want to throw out there? The one I want to say is I feel like an action movie needs to have a clear-cut action hero.
So we need to make qualifiers before we make our list.
Well, I'm just saying,
I
think don't they all kind of heroes? Right?
Well, yeah, but if you were to pick a movie like Star Wars, technically a lot of action, but I wouldn't say that's an action movie in the same way that like Indiana Jones is.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, where you have like
you follow a character through their adventure, so action adventure more.
Kind of more like that, like picking one at random that may not necessarily be on my list. Point Break. You're following Keanu Reeves the whole time.
Hey,
I've never seen that. I'm sorry.
Motherfucker.
Okay, another thing we need to talk about, we're going to try to cut back on profanity.
You're guessing my list right now.
Okay.
So.
I had Point Break online.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm more upset that we're not doing no nerd news.
We do nerd news at the end of the month.
End of the month.
You've been on this podcast a lot.
We've done it in the beginning. Last time we did it in the beginning.
Well, we shoot out any kind of hot topics. Any hot topics you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, we have...
Jeremy Renner is now cast in Spawn as the Twitch, the detective.
Yeah. That'd be cool. That Spawn is shaping up to be a good movie.
We'll bring any Spawn news to this table.
Yeah.
Why? What's good about Spawn?
You do that, and I'll take care of the other big news. Rainbow Bright coming to comic books. Wow.
Yay.
Dead silence.
Cricket.
Yeah, Rainbow Bright. You remember Rainbow Bright when
The toys with the little colored pegs?
No.
Rainbow Pride?
No. Yeah, I guess I'm showing my age. Okay, yeah. Rainbow Bright's a cartoon from the 80s that they're bringing into comic books, and it's kind of on the same. It's like Strawberry Shortcake level. But yeah.
All right.
Cool. Okay. Exciting podcast we're going on so far. Anything else you want to bring, Squeaks? Any other news? Anything else to shout out there?
Any good trailers? San Diego Comic-Con.
There's a lot of trailers going on right now. New Discovery Season 2 trailer just came out. A lot of hot stuff coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. If you want to get some news on that, follow our Twitter. We've been pumping them out quick. Facebook too now.
There's also an update for Minecraft just came out, 1.13.
Yeah.
There's a lot of more underwater stuff.
Have you played it yet?
No, I've been trying to get on a new server, but I got on one. It was hunky-dory and stuff, and it didn't even start building before I had to go to bed. And then the next day I get on, and the update came out. They didn't update yet, so okay, drop you guys. Find somebody who updated already.
It's unreal how much stuff's under the ocean now. There's sunken ships. Yeah. There's a lot of those temples.
Mm-hmm. There's new enchantments that you can for underwater breathing longer and stuff like that. So
that's a big one.
Stuff. I want to try that.
Comcast dropped the bid for Fox, so it's going to Disney. Mm-hmm. So we are on the cusp of seeing Wolverine with the Avengers. And I think what they need to do, and hear me out on this, I think they need to wait like 5 years before they touch X-Men. Just let it kind of simmer out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then recast a whole lot of them. I like Sansa, but recast a whole lot of them.
Like the Hulk movie. They released a new one after that botched one in 2005 or whatever. Then it would have been like, nobody would have wanted to go see it because it was so terrible. But they waited a while and now it came out really good.
Yeah. So I think that's what they need to do. They need to just kind of cool their heels a little bit. Let us forget about Wolverine or about the X-Men and then bring them out. They will probably own Fantastic Four as well. There's also another studio that's in there too, so it's kind of a trickier one. But I'm happy to see a fully new Reed Richards and all them, so that'd be cool. All right. So anything else before we get started? Bada boom, bada bing. All right, we're good. All right, so we're gonna name our top 5 in no particular order, real fast, and then we'll start pitching them out like we always do. I'll start off with The Matrix, Air Force One, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Judge Dredd, and a little-known movie called Hard Target.
Gosh.
Yeah,
remember Hard Target?
It's on my list.
It is? Nice. Everybody that's listening does know, except for maybe Miguel. Miguel will know who Hard Target is.
You gotta explain why we know.
Yeah.
All Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Yeah, we know all Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. All right, go ahead.
All right. So I have Terminator 2.
Ooh.
The Matrix, Point Break, Blade, and Bad
Blade.
Boys.
Bad Boys, nice.
Yeah.
And Bad Boys. Why? There are so many movies I forgot about in this list. That's crazy. 90s was awesome.
One of the few Michael Bay good movies. Bad
The
Boys.
Rock?
Bad Boys.
I'm on a relation. The Rock.
The Rock.
No way. Michael
What's The
Bay's
Rock?
probably best movies. The Rock. With Sean Connery and
Oh,
Nicolas Cage.
okay.
That was
But it's
good.
like, yeah, he was good back then. Now he's getting these,
No,
I don't know,
Transformers.
let's
what are you gonna
remake
say about
our
him?
childhood movies and they're horrible.
You know what his best movie was? Little side thing. You know what his best movie was? Mystery Man. He didn't direct it. He was an actor on it. He was an actor on it. He was one of the like frat boys in their gang. It's a side thing. I'll show you later on a clip from it. Sorry, go ahead. Now that I've wasted more time, go ahead.
Alright, my 5 are Hard Target, The Matrix, Die Hard 4, Die Hard with Vengeance, Batman Returns, and Waterworld.
Oh,
from
ooh,
95.
wow.
Yeah.
I concede to the Waterworld.
Yeah, that's got to change your
can't.
list.
So I know a lot of people don't like Waterworld. It flopped in theaters and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Revisit it. It's a fun romp. It's basically Mad Max on water.
It wasn't great for its time,
Yeah,
but I think with
like
our
watch
generation,
Mad Max.
it would sell so much better. I think if they waited and produced it now, or just redid it right now, it would be
They could
huge.
redo it right now.
Yeah, because it's a
Who do you
it's
think
a
could be the new
millennial kind
Never
of.
mind, Tom Hardy.
That was easy.
Yeah.
I just watched Batman. Night Rise.
Yeah, they're bringing. That's another little piece of nerd news. They're bringing Dark Knight back to the theaters.
Yeah. I saw that.
It'll be in. It's $21 for a seat in San Francisco. That's the nearest one to us, and they're almost sold out. So if you guys want tickets,
Yeah, that's cool. I have it on Blu-ray, so I'll just watch it on my big TV.
that's exactly what Daniel said. You guys are both just as useless. Here we go. All right, so for my number one, I'm going to bring out there. I'm going Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Ooh, why?
So we're going to do the 1 minute timer instead of the 2 minute timer, so we can speed things along a little faster.
Are we explaining the whole plot of the movie, or just
Just
what
a
you liked
brief
about it?
why you think it's such a great movie. Great action movie. You got to lean on the action part. All right, here we go. It's a Die Hard movie, first and foremost. So it's already awesome. It's got John McClain.
Ooh.
We see him back in his natural habitat. He's back in New York. He's back to being a beat cop. And where's the detective? Might be a detective. Anyways, and he's got a villain. This time it's actually the brother from Hans Gruber, the first villain from the first movie. Yeah,
Who is
Nakatomi
it?
Tower. And he is played by, oh my god, I forgot the actor's name. I'm sorry. Cerberus Snape. And that's the first one. The new one's Jeremy Irons. The new bad guy's Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
And he's doing a game of Simon Says with him. And very important thing that I just forgot about is Samuel Jackson's in the movie. And so it's the two of them being buddies. Samuel Jackson's a convenience store owner that's having to be stuck with a cop because of mishap.
Not really buddies are forced into this relationship, right?
But then they're like solving puzzles as they're going through New York, and there's like a bomb in a school, and they got to find it real quick. It's super awesome, and just like the first one, like the terrorist attacks are actually hiding the fact that they're trying to steal from Fort Knox. I mean, it's how action movie is that sentence that I just said.
Yeah.
They're stealing from Fort Knox. They're going to do terrorist attacks to pretend. Anyways, that's my minute right there. So yeah.
I mean, and you got John McClain, Bruce Willis was like king of action movies back then.
Well, yeah, he is. I mean, when we go to 80s action movies, we all know it's going to be number one.
Yeah, it's probably just gonna be a bunch.
Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2. Yeah. I just watched Die Hard 2 yesterday, too, actually. All right, Squeaks, your turn, man. What's your number one?
Sweet speaking.
My number one
I'm hungry.
is one of the few very good sequels to anything is Terminator 2. Okay.
Did you say Tomb Raider 2?
Terminator 2.
Oh, no, Terminator 2 wasn't in the 90s, was it?
Yeah, it says in the 90s.
Oh, wow, my list. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Thanks for interrupting.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
There goes 30 seconds. You'll never get
I
back.
don't need it. I mean, badass superhero, jacket, biker, shooting shotgun, kind of crazy. I like to see that we got a neat villain that wasn't just another robot. It was a whole different technology with the liquid metal.
Yeah.
We got the most famous lines in that movie from we still quote today. Badass futuristic war. I'll get to that because I know he's probably going to say one. On this Die Hard one. So, badass futuristic war, a lot of cool scenes, a lot of dark camera colors, whatever. I'm just trying to hurry. Dark camera angle, so it makes it look more of an intense disaster world type of movie.
I think the 1 minute timer is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Because then we
keeps a
debate
little
and we
pressure.
keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
John,
We
feed
do have
me.
the 5 minutes for that. Right?
I'm hungry.
All right.
I forgot all about Terminator 2. I thought that was in the 80s. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
All right, so my number one's going to be Waterworld. Came out in 1995. It's got Kevin Costner, and his villain is Dennis Hooper.
You guys are killing me.
This is a post-apocalyptic world, and it's totally different than most movies we see, because this one is where the polar ice caps melted, so the world is flooded. There's very little land. Our Kevin Costner, I can't remember his name. And most people can't find any land, so they live on these makeshift like ships, living like moving cities that they've created. And Kevin Costner kind of, I guess, evolved to be able to breathe underwater, so he's got like gills. And he finds this woman and her daughter who are trying to escape, and they supposedly know how to get to dry land, and that's everybody's goal. Like, you can only survive if you get to dry land. And it's a lot like Mad Max, because the villains are, I mean, just like right out of Mad Max, they're like, they call them smokers, but they're like savages who kind of like makeshift things together, and they're raiders, and they go, anybody they find they pillage, and they steal their stuff and, you know, rape their women or whatever. So Kevin Costner is trying to save this little girl and her mom.
Cut it off.
Wrap it up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sounded.
I don't know how to explain it.
So just real quick, Kevin
story.
Costner's name, he doesn't actually have a name in the movie, which is part of the badassery of this thing. They just call him the Mariner, but he actually doesn't have a name.
If we were to give him a name, what would we name him?
I don't know.
Alrighty.
Squeeze.
Squeeze.
Terminator 2, by the way, 1991. So you know.
1991.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. And then another little tidbit on that. Did you know Jack Black's in that? He's the pilot that remember when he's like flying
the plane
around?
crashes? The one that comes in? Yeah. Okay.
No way. Huh. I wouldn't know.
That kills me you haven't seen that. Like, after this,
such a good movie.
It's movie night at John's house.
Ooh.
Man,
So we're watching Waterworld.
So one thing about that movie too, it's such a great movie, and like Frank was saying, it was a major flop. They spent $175 million on it,
Dang.
and they only made so final after marketing and stuff like that was $235 million, and they only made $88 million on it.
So Joe, you really want that to be your number one?
That's in the freaking 90s. That's money you hear nowadays in production.
Yeah.
That's in the 90s they put that kind of money into it.
Yeah.
Because when you see it, like, they're literally everything's floating on water.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
they made like a man-made water reservoir or whatever, like off the side of the sea or whatever, to film all this in.
Yeah, I've been there. It was at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
They made it into a ride when they were done with it.
It's not a ride, it's a
They
show.
did. Yeah,
It's a
it's
show.
actually a really cool show. Thank you. All right, so here's your 5-minute timer.
Ooh.
All right. Ask any questions you want.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because he's
Got
your
it,
judge.
yeah, sorry.
Don't talk to me. All right, go away, Joe. Or go for it, Joe.
Taff, what do you like best about your movie?
What do I like the best about my movie? I like the relationship between Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis as they. His name I think is Zeus in it actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, between Zeus and John McClain. I like their relationship and how John McClain has always been the kind of guy who's just gonna like do whatever it takes to get the job done, even when he's stepping on glass. And then you got this guy who kind of just doesn't want to be here, but he's also like, my city's gonna blow up, and I'm trying to protect people and stuff like that. Like he's like a fish out of water.
I love the scene when he finds the gold brick. Remember that? And then they steal the car?
Yeah.
That's
And so
really
he's carrying
good.
this big gold brick with him.
Yeah, and so like while they're trying to survive and trying to save the city, but he's like, well, shit, no, I'm not going to leave this 100-pound fucking brick of gold behind. I'm going to take it with me. He breaks the window to get in the car, ends up leaving it in the car.
Yeah. And then like upsets him so much. Everything about that movie is so good. And that's another thing too, is it explores all of New York City, but it does it in a way that most movies don't. Like a lot of times when you see a movie and New York is considered a character in it, you're showing Empire State Building, you're showing very noticeable attractions to people from out of town. And as a person who's ever been to New York, I feel like this did a good job of showing you the street level New York.
Yeah.
Like they're actually running around on the streets.
In the
They
parks
go to
and
a
stuff
park.
like that.
Yeah, they go to like a construction site and that big
Aqueduct.
yeah, I remember. And then like the
Tunnels.
dam breaks and they're running out. So I feel like it did a really good job of putting John McClane in his home, because before this we saw him in the Nakatomi building, something he wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
He's at an airport he didn't know anything about. Now we're on his turf.
Yeah.
And then it was a really good job. It's so 90s. The cars, the clothes, everything's super 90s about it.
I like
really good.
the riddles too, how they made it. It was like a game of cat and mouse between him and the villain.
Simon Says, and then, and that's another great thing. Just like the first one, they made sure to call back on the first one, because number 2 surprisingly wasn't a huge hit. It's still very good.
Yeah.
But the first one where like the terrorist attacks are just fake. They're trying to steal from Fort Knox. And then they along the way they discover that. And they saw him playing the game, but they're also dealing with this Fort Knox plan too.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So, which out of all that was your favorite part?
Well, like I said, it's the relationship between the two of them and them being in New York City and their relationship with the city. I felt like they did a really good job capturing the city and their relationship between the two of them.
Okay. John, your movie, Raft Simulator.
Great game on Steam.
What did you like best about your movie?
I like the way they made it look, because it had a very good like Mad Max vibe to it. It was cool. It was like, especially back then, I don't think there was a lot of post-apocalyptic movies or concepts out. Now we have Walking Dead and all kinds of different zombie apocalypses, but it was, you look out and you see endless ocean in the movie, like, all the time. Like, it's hard to imagine, like, how do they even make that look the way they did? And the whole city, they have a whole city that's made from ships and stuff like that, and it's all just, like, crap just got welded together here and there, and it's all rusting and falling apart with, like, makeshift engines and stuff. Like, it's just really cool. Very steampunk look to it. So,
before steampunk. And what's cool is it's before steampunk. It's a unique apocalypse. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that they were creative about it.
And it's a simple storyline, which I like. It wasn't too complicated. It was find the girl.
Find dirt.
The girl has a map. Yeah. We want to save her and use the map to find dry land so we could survive. And so that
movie needs to be revisited. If people are still harshing on it because of how bad it flopped, please revisit that movie.
Yeah, I think it was all the time it was made that it was the problem. But if you remade it now or just re-released it now with our modern generation, it would totally be a hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Squeaks? What was your favorite?
What's my favorite part?
Yeah.
My favorite parts would be the fact that we have a hero, which nowadays everyone has emotions, but our Terminator hero literally has no emotions at all. No matter what it comes to. He's just like a straight face. But we don't really see that anymore or don't get it. And it was kind of cool to see that because it's just how much of a badass he really is. Starting with the bike scene where he goes in and be like, hey, I need your clothes and boots. And they won't give it to him. Then he beats them all up and takes them. Like I was saying, he's on just his image of being on a bike, motorcycle with his outfit and his shotgun, just shooting everything.
But he was just programmed to do all that stuff, right?
Huh?
He was just programmed to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah, but
he broke the programming number 2, didn't he?
I think when he started developing a real better relationship with the kid, Sean Connery, right? No, what's I'm thinking of Sean Connery. What's his
John Connor?
John Connor. Yeah, what the hell?
Back.
But I just besides that, like I said about the villain real quick in our little snippet, I think it was neat to see 2 different type of technologies going at each other. It's kind of like when you see a Freddy and Jason, 2 different worlds, but it's just with that. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I know it's weird. I'm taking a little bit more. I know it's weird, but I did like to see just straight up, no emotion, badass, just messing everything else.
And that villain was awesome. He was literally threatening.
Yeah.
You were actually worried about him.
Yeah.
Because he was literally unstoppable.
Yeah,
in your opening statement, you said that
Don't put your hand in front of your mouth.
This gave you one of a famous quote. Can you say that quote?
Not just one. I will give you 2.
Oh, he's going to give us 2, boys.
Okay, but let's not shout him because we don't want to peek. I know you're hyped up.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay, and then maybe it was only one.
Oh, freak, you mean?
Sorry.
Oh, fooey.
Oh yeah, that's what I can think of. Someone's gonna get mad at me because I know there's another one.
What are all the Terminator quotes?
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
To the store.
All right. All right. Good.
Wow, that was the last words
answers
my
I
dad
thought,
ever
guys.
told me.
Welcome to the dad joke corner. All right.
Good answers. For a minute, Taff, feed me. You told me what you liked most. Give me what you least liked about this film.
Oh, that is good.
Ooh.
Yeah, what do I least like about
Someone's
Die Hard?
showing up today.
I think the original ending was better. I think... Man, that's a good one. What do I like the least about it? I wish they focused less on the bombs in the schools, because I felt like, give me more John McClain. And more Jeremy Irons.
That's always good.
Yeah. I think Jeremy Irons, he didn't necessarily need to be tied to his brother, because I felt like the overall point, the plot didn't have any point to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was actually out there to steal gold. Mm-hmm. Then again, the fact that he's tied to his brother was his distraction.
And that's why he chose John McClain.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true. Yeah.
Shoot.
He came back and was playing games with him through the city, but to him directly because his history with his brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a great movie. You know what I don't like about it? It's not around anymore on theaters. I want to be able to go see that thing in IMAX.
Everything's coming back with some type of anniversary, so you might get lucky.
I'll see that in IMAX.
You might get lucky.
It came out in 95, so in 2025, IMAX.
We'll be there.
Bam.
Yeah.
All right, John. If you could ask a psychological... I'm just kidding. What do you like least about the movie as well? About Boat Simulator.
Boat Simulator. Even though they spent $175 million on the movie, I think it could have looked better, and that's only because back then they didn't have CGI yet. So if they were to reproduce it now, it would be just freaking amazing because so much of it that they spent millions of dollars on, they could have CGI'd and cut it better and stuff like that and polished up a little more. So I still think it looked good, but it definitely had that kind of grungy vibe, and that's what they were going for. But I mean, that makes it easier. Like doing zombie makeup is easy because you just splash blood. You don't have to, make it look pretty. So I don't know. But yeah, I think if they had CGI, that they would have been able to do a lot more than what they did.
Squeaks?
Come with me if you want to live. That was the second one. I was like, dang, it's right
That's what you liked least about the film, huh?
Yeah. Least about it? Dang. Maybe the stories. No, I gotta revisit. I know the Tomb Raider stories can get pretty
confusing.
Yeah, confusing sometimes.
I keep hearing Tomb Raider, not Terminator.
Yeah.
Am I saying Tomb Raider?
I think you're saying Tomb Raider.
Am I saying Tomb Raider?
Yeah, you're in love with Lara Croft.
It's alright. Lara Croft saw it. Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know why I'm saying that because that's definitely not in a top movie of anything I'm buying. Terminator.
But Spawn is, right? It's up there
Spawn is,
somehow.
I almost put it for my 90s actually.
90s, yeah. I was like,
but maybe that. Maybe just story's a little too complex or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess so.
Nice. Very well answered, my friends. Any last things you want to put in? Any sentences?
Yes, real quick. Sorry. Okay. I think you're right that CGI would make that thing sell more, but I think some of the appeal of Waterworld is that there is no CGI.
Yeah.
So that you kind of get that real, there is a plane crashing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're handling rust.
And I think they did use CGI for the balloon, but so much of that movie was so real, and that's, again, I always compare it to Mad Max because I really feel like it is.
Yeah.
Fury Road, that did super well.
Yeah.
He purposely used almost no CGI in that movie.
Yeah.
And everybody's excited about that. I think if you were to remake it and you said, we're not going to do CGI again, it might even do better because people would be excited to see stunts again.
Yeah.
Well, then with Terminator 2, it was CGI when necessary.
And it's funny because it's funny that you guys are comparing them both this way. That one it was one of the first times CGI was used right. They had done CGI very little before, but the villain in that was a lot of heavy CGI. Yeah. And that's, to this day, complimented to the why CGI got so popular is because of how the villain looked.
Way to go.
T-1000, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. T-100, T-1000, something like that.
Yeah, and then what's Arnold's? Is it 1800 or 800?
I think he's like a 100 and then the new one's 1000.
Okay. Yeah. Forgot.
We'll hear about it in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah. Somebody's getting mad.
Yeah.
You're like, not even close. All right, guys. All great films. I've seen them all, and I enjoy watching them all. But if I'm going to go with action-y for our number one, I think I got to go with Terminator.
You mean
Tomb
Tomb Raider? Not Terminator.
Tomb Raider.
That's right.
Gotta go with Tomb Raider. That Lara Croft, the Angelina Jolie, she just does a great job when she turns into a robot. So.
Okay, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders to me are terrible, but have you seen the new one? It's kind of
it looked too much like the video game, so you're just copycatting the game.
Is that not what we want, though? I think it's a really
good
movie.
Story. I would like to see you quote stuff that you did in the video game and just bring it into...
You should watch it, though. Honestly, try to watch it. It's super good, and I really like that actress. She's adorable.
I think the best video game to movie that there is Doom, by far.
I have not seen Doom.
I haven't seen that either.
Okay, you've seen... I thought you saw Doom. Doom is really good, and it flopped like a mother.
Dang.
But it's super good, yeah. There's actually even a scene that's done first-person shooter style.
Oh shit!
And so you actually see him running around like you're.
Maybe I'll have to watch that then.
Yeah, it's broken actually.
All right, guys. Let's move on to our number 2.
On the board.
Terminator 2 on the board.
On the board. All right.
All right. Taff, start us up. Your minutes on the.
All right. I'm gonna use the last of my Tiana roll here. I really need to make sure some of these get on this list, but Die Hard with a Vengeance again.
Okay.
Just hit me up with my minute. Okay, so in this movie we see a lot of hardcore action. It had really good pacing, and the idea is that they get stuck together. Jeremy Irons is playing Simon Says with John McClain and Samuel Jackson, now Zeus. And so they're running around the city and they're having to solve puzzles to keeping him from blowing up a school. And so he apparently put a bomb in one of the schools. So on the side story is that the rest of the PD is emptying out schools. And then along the way, they find out that they're actually robbing Fort Knox. And one of my favorite scenes is when they're going into that bank that's like next to Fort Knox that they're able to like tunnel through on. Yeah. And then they like get in the elevator and there's like a bunch of like, it's funny because it's so 90s. In the 90s, the bad guys always had super thick Russian accents.
Yeah, I was going to say, they were always like, not American.
Cold War
Air Force One later on my list, super Russian accents. Yeah. But yeah, so they're all sitting in there in the elevators and they're all talking to these guys that are like clearly from out of town and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They're in the elevator and stuff. It's one of my favorite scenes because like the tension's really high.
But isn't Bruce Willis in there? He takes all them out in the elevator.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does.
yeah. One man against five big like.
It's not just one man,
7
it's
foot-
Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
one god and
Yeah.
like 5 7 foot Russian guys that all have guns, and he's able to disarm them all and fucking leave the
Freaking-
elevator.
yeah, that's-
Leave the elevator with a pile of bodies.
Anything else you want to say?
It's classic action.
It is. I agree. John, feed me. I'm hungry.
So I'm also gonna go with Die Hard since it's on my list.
Yes.
Die Hard 4, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Okay.
So it's
you
Die Hard.
you
Hold on,
don't-
real quick. Die Hard 3.
Hmm?
Die Hard with the Vengeance. It's
Is
number
it?
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
So you don't care about Waterworld no more, huh?
No, it's still a great movie, but you guys didn't get much traction out of it, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna keep pushing something that's not going uphill.
Hey, logical move.
I learned.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
And you might be able to pull it in later on if we have something weak later on. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I got other A's in here that can still win. But one scene that I want to mention in Die Hard, as Frank talked about how it's very grounded and shows Bruce Willis' character really being a part of the city and stuff like that. And one of the like challenges, he's going into the aqueducts, the underwater tunnels, and it's funny because like, he's got to solve these puzzles, and he tells one of the guys he needs to take the truck. So he gets this guy out of the truck, and he's telling him, I don't remember what it was, the details he was telling him, but he was talking about was the 14th president or some stuff
He knew
like
all
that.
these presidential facts. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he says, like, oh, I got to get to this place, and I got to figure out which president was what. He's like, oh, it's Chester A. Arthur. He's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, Chester A. Arthur. And
And then he starts rambling off about just
yeah,
also did
and
this
he gives him
one
all
thing.
this information and stuff, and it's like, that was the name of the school that he needed to go find that had the bomb and all that stuff. And it's just funny because it's like just another spot where, I mean, nowadays we have Siri, we can look on our phone, but back then you actually have to be able to talk to people and have, build relationships with people to get the kind of, information that you need. And so it's just another part of him being
They
a
keep
part of the
using
city.
payphones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got to be at this spot, and then you get a phone ring.
Payphone? What is it?
It's like a cell phone.
What is this?
It's anchored to the ground. It's,
Weird.
Yeah.
It's funny. The more we talk about it, the more that movie is insanely 90s.
Yeah. Very.
That's great.
All right. Very, very nice. Very nice. Jeff. Well, not Jeff. Squeaks.
Disrespect me.
I'm hungry. Feed me.
The Matrix. I can't feed you like the food that the Matrix.
That was
in
my
the
number
Matrix
two.
to eat,
That's
but yes. More of a complex, crazy story,
Just a
future.
little bit.
I know I'm all about future right now, I guess, with my movies I'm picking.
What year does that take place? What, 2029 or something? 2030?
I actually don't know. It's been a while since I've
It's
seen
coming in a couple years.
Yeah, it'll be there.
It's
got a-
2018.
It's got an amazing cast. Everyone has their own personality. Exhilarating action scenes. I think it was a huge step for pop culture because it had this whole cyberpunk, gothic look to it. Probably the most famous scenes that we still see today just being advertised or whatever the heck with all the CGI. Of course, when we see Neo doing the
Dodging
bending
bullets.
backwards, dodging bullets.
I
Yeah.
love the whole bullet time loop.
Yeah.
flow
Yeah,
thing.
something.
Or he, like,
Slow-
stops him.
yeah.
And even the girl, I forgot her name,
time.
but one
Trinity?
of the mentor girls
Trinity,
that
yeah.
jumps
Not
up
Trinity.
and like kicks. We saw that in Shrek, like the first one.
Oh,
Right? That's
yeah.
the first one or something
Yeah,
like that. But
it
we still
is.
see
Okay.
stuff being quote to that movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, 1 minute's up.
That is a good movie too.
That is.
Yeah, well, so since we have two diehards here, I'm going to ask you guys a joint question.
Okay.
I like
Oh, we get 2 minute timer. Nice.
Well, this is a 5 minute.
Oh,
This is our 5 minute
my
question.
bad. My bad.
I figured I'll just ask you both. You guys both can chime in. So when this movie ended, what were your thoughts?
I
As soon as it when it ended, what was going through your mind? Whether you were in a theater, whether you watched it last week.
We watched it at home. I don't remember ever seeing it in theaters.
That's the thing is we had like 10 VHS action tapes.
Yeah.
And we watched the heck out of them.
Over and over again.
And this is one of them.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember the actual ending of it too.
The ending is on the docks, I want to say, and he's like goes up to he borrows a quarter to go to a payphone to call his wife. He's always struggling with his wife in all the movies.
And it all comes together at once, right? Because the ships were full of iron, right? In the end, that was the real trick. Was I'm not even going to send this money back to the Russians.
Was that it?
I'm going to keep it all. And
Well, because they had the trucks. Remember, they were all in the warehouse, and they thought they had one, and they had the trucks, and all the trucks were going to go out. And for a movie that's in my number one, I should know the name.
I thought at the end it was
Or the-
like you're saying, it was at the dock. All the trucks were loaded. Maybe I'm mixing it up with number 2.
No, number 2 was the airplanes. Number 1 was he was taking off the helicopter, and then the helicopters go. Yeah, maybe they weren't on a dock. I kept saying dock, but it's probably not. The helicopter going up, and then it hit the power line, and boom, blew up, and like that. So
that was the end of the bad guy.
Yeah,
and then he found, wasn't it? It was like scrap steel that they were shipping out instead of, and they were gonna sink it, and they're like, oh, that's how we're getting back America.
Yeah.
We're gonna sink their gold into the ocean, and really, we're shipping it back, and we're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. That was good. And then I remember it felt like it wasn't even a completion of a John McClain trilogy. It was just another segment, which is kind of nice because nowadays we get this where they're so intertwined and stuff like that. So it's like they have to leave hints to the next movie and all the movies we watch.
It's kind of like the end of an episode. Like,
it was the end of an episode. It's a good way to put it. Where we're like, look, you could have a complete story and know that it's going to continue. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to... Yeah. What will happen next time? Yeah. Or we see that he's still alive underneath something or whatever.
You see, he finished this adventure, whatever, but that was just a day in the life of John McClain. Like,
exactly.
Who's the next psycho that's going to come try and attack the city?
Yeah. So that was kind of nice that it had that... he had a continuous storyline with his wife. The two kids are involved, too, because they come in the later movies. Mm-hmm. Which are really not diehards, but whatever. And then you had this new friendship between Zeus and John McClain. Mm-hmm. I can never say just John. You have to say his full name.
It's McClain.
Just a really good movie. It had chemical warfare and something we didn't see because they used like, well, not necessarily chemical warfare, but remember how they put like, it was like a toothpick. They put a little bit of that juice on that he's using the bomb to make, and he throws it at the
cyanide or something. Right?
Oh, isn't it when they're like tied up on the?
Yeah. It was on like a paperclip or something.
That's how he broke the chain. But even when they're in the office and they're like, "This stuff's real," and they're like, "That's not dynamite." Like everybody has old school thoughts, and this is like, "No, this is the future." And you mix the two together, and you threw it at that like chair, and it blew up the chair, and the lady that was like, "I'm gonna kill you for doing that" or whatever. But it was just kind of funny because it was like, "Ooh, this is something new. There's not a fuse on that bomb." You know, so something unique. But it was really cool.
That's Squeaks.
Couldn't even name the catchphrase. The yippee-ki-yay. Couldn't even honor that. Really? Couldn't even honor that?
Censor ourselves.
I think we're like on the third one. I think if we're on the first
TBS
one.
this. We'll say it like it's on TBS. Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Hutter. Ooh.
And like the guy's voice is totally different for that second.
Yeah.
All right, what's the question?
All right, I'm going to throw you the same question. When your Chris Angel Mind Freak movie ended, what was your thoughts? How were you feeling?
I probably had to rewatch it to understand it again. But yeah. Anyway, let me tell you the good stuff. Okay, you are Neo basically. I know Keanu Reeves plays action roles really great because he doesn't have an expression.
Yeah.
But that's fine with some of these movies. That's why I kind of mentioned Arnold and Terminator. But that was his role. But this is just who Keanu Reeves is, and it works. Like look at John Wick now. But with him, we are Neo because he is basically this fish out of water. Like, what the hell is going on? And we don't know what's going on either. But then we have Morpheus, which is your mentor. And then we have the lady. I keep forgetting her. Trinity. She's also like a mentor. But you also have your tech people. You also have like your comic and your comedic reliefs. And then you also have your traitor. But then you have a villain that's psycho. So this is like a whole freaking... crazy plot thing going.
You have a villain that is in the Matrix that is like a virus or whatever, and you have the human villain because people are still corrupt.
The virus is number 2.
No, he's from the beginning.
He's there in the first one, but he's not a virus until number 2.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because then he like
it's hard because I get the two mixed up a lot. I watched the first one right before I saw the second one, so I get
he's a firewall or whatever in the first one.
He duplicates himself in the
second one.
Okay, yeah. I think it's just great to see like these future action movies because it's a possibility, man. It talk about cyborgs all the time that we get next to like androids, like trying to get closer and closer, and it can be something that will maybe happen. You know, this is obviously a step further, and like we're all in a computer or something.
Like what was the movie Ready Player One? Didn't it just come out?
Yeah,
where it's the same thing. It's
that
a
movie's
flashier
so good.
version of it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Did Sarah watch
I
it?
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, she watched it with me.
Okay, I was gonna suggest that for our book club, but if she's already watched it, then I'll wait.
Yeah, it's really good. But honestly, do not honor this Princess Tiana rule, okay? Because the Matrix should definitely be above Die Hard.
That's
we
absurd.
have the best, or well, I want to say it. Yeah, fuck it. Back then, I'm getting passionate. Okay, back then of like the CGI and the action scenes. I mean, come on, like them flipping off walls and the bullet. Slow motion.
No
Come
CGI
on now.
needed to make John McClane look like
that's
John
great.
McClane.
True.
You don't even need it. Oh yeah, and who else is there? Samuel Jackson. Okay, that's the problem. You can't even name the woman that's following around who's Trinity.
Yeah, I
Can't even name her. To me, the coolest person in the whole movie is Morpheus. Just gonna throw that out because Lawrence Fishburne, he's great, and he's in John Wick too.
I haven't seen number 2 yet, Damon.
Yeah. Anyways, it does not beat Die Hard 3, which I'm gonna go out there and say it. My favorite Die Hard.
Ooh.
I think it's the best one.
That's
a big claim.
That's a big claim. Yeah.
I don't think it beats.
You
It.
still see Matrix advertised
I got a question for
today
you,
with
Steve. I got a
everything
question
it's
for you,
done.
Steve.
Okay,
This is
okay,
a
okay.
Which spawned better sequels?
True.
Spawn?
Which what?
Which had better sequels? As long
That's
as you don't
cute,
count
but we're
four
just
and
talking about. Nah, that's cute.
I'm just
Okay.
saying because the characters
Terminator
are
2 did obviously.
All right. Question for Squeeze. If you were Neo,
Yes.
would you have taken the blue or red pill, and why?
Man,
Which one was which?
I would have been scared because I had to jump out of that building, or you know how he climbed out of the window and stuff. But man, his life sucked. But then you turn out the computer world is almost like the real world now, or something like that, isn't it? Wasn't it like?
Oh, I'm not giving you
don't
answers. You think it's better than Die Hard?
Whatever it is.
See, my thing
Yeah,
with the Matrix
that's
is
crazy.
I feel like it's just like nowadays, like it's Wreck-It Ralph. You know what I mean? Like they're in the internet. And,
Watch your language, please. No, yeah, I would take. Yeah, I would agree with Kiana because those guys were going to come after him anyway in the office.
True.
So
True.
what else are you
You
gonna
hit
do?
it just like.
Yeah.
Good answers, guys. Any last things you want to put in for Die Hard?
I like to think of. It's
Yeah.
an amazing
Anything
movie.
for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure after everyone saw that movie, they wanted to dress up all in black and record themselves doing stunts.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
That's true.
Fair enough. I remember.
I just picture you with your
Right
stone cold
after.
signage.
Look at my list. Originally, it was number 1, and then I had the arrow switching it with Die Hard.
Yeah.
So I do like Matrix a lot, and that's one of my big things. Is afterwards, I felt like I could be Neo. I just gotta get into a computer system.
What's nice about this?
Enter World of Warcraft.
I've seen them. I've seen them both. Both great films, great action films. But I think Die Hard is more actiony here.
You're just
Die Hard is a little more action. I mean, when I think of an action movie, I'm a little surprised I didn't put it for number 1. But you did come out strong with the Terminator, and I think that is a good action film.
I agree with the Terminator being number 1. I think that was a good choice.
Now, I don't think I would say number 3 is my favorite Die Hard, but the Die Hards are very, very good.
Yeah.
All right, John. I'm hungry. I need some chicken. Need some protein. Feed me your number 3. Go.
I think my number 3 is going to be Batman Returns.
All right, Taff, you're on the board.
Seriously.
Go ahead,
I know.
Taff.
Well, now that you guys qualify the action movies, it's all about the action and stuff like that. I understand it's not like full of action, but
It's not even the most action-filled of the Batmans of the 90s.
what are the Batmans in the 90s?
All the other Batmans.
What? Let me see.
Is that the one with Seal?
Batman Returned.
Yeah.
No.
Seals in that movie.
Wait, which one did you say?
Batman
Christopher
Returns with Penguin and Catwoman.
Oh, I do like that one actually.
Yeah, right. That's
I thought.
that's my
I'm
favorite
sorry.
Batman.
I thought you were thinking the Freeze one.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No.
I was
That
about
one
to-
we can recycle.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Recycle.
Yeah. We don't need to count that.
I do love that Batman though.
That is. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, I jumped the gun.
So Penguin and Catwoman. See, the budget was 80 million. This one actually profited 162 million. So it was a success, unlike Waterworld. But it's all about Batman having to fight the political manipulation that's bringing Penguin, a mobster, to be the mayor of the city and control the city. And he's got this kind of like love-hate relationship, cat-mouse game with Catwoman. So it's a good movie. It's not like we're talking about John McClain, Waterworld, and Matrix. It's not that kind of action where it's like, super pumped up fighting and stuff like that. But it is a Batman like level action movie.
Good. And who was the Batman in this one?
Michael Keaton. He's amazing.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Plays the Vulture in the
Fucking-
Spider-Man.
It's freaking amazing. Sorry. I am passionate about this one. Damn it.
I know you guys are passionate. I get 2
Leave it.
complaints, and one of them
Leave it.
is too much profanity. So let's
Okay.
Good.
squeeze it down a little bit.
Squeaks.
Matrix can Tiana roll. You gonna agree with me on this one?
I'm gonna pull in on Matrix on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a minute then.
You guys make it hard because Matrix
Alright,
is on
said
my list too.
everything.
You want anything to?
Matrix was the first time that CGI enhanced the action star, so it wasn't something. It's actually a complaint. It's funny. It's actually a complaint of Sylvester Stallone, which is on my list multiple times.
Sylvester
Right, was-
Stallone's in the Matrix?
No, but his complaint is that it's the reason we brought back Expendables. He said the 2 movies that ruined action heroes for him was the 90s Batman. It's funny he said this.
Really?
90s Batman and Matrix. 90s Batman, he used padding to make himself look strong. And in Matrix, they used CGI to make him look like he could do cool things. And so that's one thing I really liked is in Matrix, it showed that CGI can pepper in, make action even more action-y. And so and if you watch our movies nowadays, I mean, watch any Marvel movie, it's a 90% action. You ever see the filming of a Marvel movie? It's like dots and green screens, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time we saw that. And then it's Keanu Reeves. He has the blank face, and that's purpose. That's on purpose. It's so that you can impose yourself into the movie. He plays the audience. Great job, Morpheus all the way.
Okay. Jeff, what pill would you have taken?
I would be the traitor. Honestly, I'd probably come out be like, this shit sucks. And then this stuff sucks. And then be like...
And eat that steak dinner with the...
I would easily go back in. And with this stipulation, like, I want to be famous. I want to be rich. Put me back in the Matrix. You want to know details? I'll tell you everything. This is where
would you consider your WoW addiction at the time when you were high in WoW? Would you consider that your Matrix?
Yes, I probably would have, because it's like, bills and life, and then it's like, I'm a warrior.
Oh God!
I'd say put me back in with a remote. Let me give myself God powers and take them away whenever I want.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Change the world, build fucking mountains and whatever.
All right,
freaking yeah.
good picks, good reasonings. I'm gonna pull Judge Rule here and picking Matrix for this one.
Right.
I'm sorry, John.
That's
It's just hard.
Not much needs to be said on this number 3 spot.
I almost feel like Batman doesn't quite count because it would be considered a superhero movie.
Yeah, it's not
nowadays
as much as like an action movie.
And back then, well, here's the problem. Back then, there wasn't a lot of superhero movies. It would probably be considered an action movie back then. Yeah.
I don't know. IMDb considers it a action movie. So.
What do they know?
You act like those guys like follow movies and stuff.
Yeah. Let me guess, you go to like Rotten Tomatoes to get your reviews too.
Right? Star Wars 99. God.
Alright guys, number 4. Squeak, start us off.
Man, okay, so I will go with Point Break.
Point Break. I do very much enjoy Point Break, so feed me.
The over the top crazy action scenes. I mean, you're stealing money out of a airplane. Okay, let's just grab it, and then also we're gonna skydive out of it. We got one of the best bank scenes before Batman Dark Knight. You know, I mean, they're all wearing the mask and going in the bank and try to rob it. You know,
I do love the president mask.
President mask.
Yeah.
Who do we have? We have Nixon,
I don't remember.
Carter, and Reagan. Carter, is that right?
There's a fourth one. Was there a fourth one? I don't know. Let's just say it's Ike.
Yeah, whatever.
It was Obama, of course.
The episode.
20 years before him.
The episodic, sexy surf scene at the very end. You know what? Sad. So sad.
Fun
Take
fact.
your last surf, bro.
It's got one of my favorite action scenes too, where he fires the gun into the air because he couldn't shoot him, which is later on used in Hot Fuzz, which is probably my actual favorite action movie.
Who was that? Swayze taking that last.
Swayze forever.
Yeah, and then we got Keanu Reeves again. Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah,
actually,
I
I very
Keanu
much
Reeves
enjoy that film. Fun fact: when I go to hotels, I when they have a little suggestion when you're making a reservation, I always ask for a picture of Johnny Utah and Bodie. I forget his name.
Who was it that just did that? We were talking about that. Somebody actually did that and had it come true.
It was just like a meme.
Okay, I saw something on the internet. So, whatever.
I don't know.
Too much internet in my life.
Gosh,
Yeah.
Stuck in the Matrix now.
I love it.
Jeff, you're on the clock. Feed me.
Air Force One. What? Harrison Ford. There's one thing you know about action movies is there's like probably 5 good action stars, and Harrison Ford is one of them. All right. He's El Presidente, an American president who's cruising around on Air Force One, and then here comes Gary Oldman playing a terrorist from Russia and takes over Air Force One because I guess that's apparently pretty easy. It was super thick, but believable because it's Gary Oldman. And then Vice President Glenn Close, that's right, Cruella DeVille, is in charge back at home, and they're trying to figure out what is he going to do. He's going to take over the plane himself. The president becomes John McClain and takes over the plane. And there's even the part at the end when he's like, "Get off my plane," and he throws him off the plane. It's pretty amazing.
Harrison Ford, right?
Harrison Ford, yeah. Indiana Jones is in this.
There's no whips though, so it's not as good.
Luke Skywalker.
It's also got so we got Glenn. Don't forget Luke Skywalker. And we got William H. Macy. He's one of the generals. I just gotta say his name because I love William H. Macy and everything he does. So.
Very well, very good pick.
Yeah,
very good film. John, you know what to do. You're on the clock. I'm hungry.
I think I'm gonna go again with Waterworld.
Okay.
It's an amazing movie. Kevin Costner. I explained kind of how the plot goes.
Okay.
The coolest thing is to me is the roaming like floating ship cities. I'm trying to find a really good picture to show you, but I mean I know that doesn't.
That comes through good on podcast.
Yeah.
They do good
Hey, you
job
guys, can you see this? But it's just so cool.
Get a camera for us, Frank.
I know.
I know. We'll do Twitch eventually. We gotta get more patrons. Cough, cough.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys want to see what we're doing, subscribe. But it's just a really cool scene, and I know they made was it at Waterworld? They have that or maybe they don't have it anymore.
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios, they have that
still have
scene where you go watch it. So I was thinking that'd be so cool if they had a theme park that was just you can actually go and climb on there.
People would drown because people are
people are stupid.
Dumb.
So
yeah, okay. I was like, should I say it? But at least you beat me to it. So.
Nobody else can go. If I was rich, I'd just tell them, you know what, make me this. I want some jet skis. I want to be able to zip line off of stuff like they do in the movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
But good movie, real cool.
I wish I had that one on my list. I forgot about it, but it is one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, the reason that the villain is in control and is able to have this whole horde of people and mob is because he controls the fuel and everything runs on gas.
Classic Mad Max.
There's almost no fuel to be found. You have to have it.
One thing I like, I'm going to throw it on yours, and I know I specifically said I need to stop doing this, but I'm going to throw it on yours, is one of the cool thing about that movie is it's basically two opposing societies. There's the one that favors the old ways and has the big barter, or the big barge full of oil, right? The big tanker full of oil. Yeah. And then there's the new ways. It's just like living on rafts that are sewn together to create a city, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like living more off of the nature that's around them and one of them that's living in the old ways. So I really like that they had the two different sides competing for the land.
So like Black Panther?
Basically it's Black Panther, yeah. Black Panther plus Mad Max equals Waterworld.
Dang. Easy math. All right,
easy math.
Maybe I should finally watch that.
All right, we're on our 5-minute timer. Taff, I'm starting off with you. If you had a chance to ask a character in your movie a question, what would it be? Who would the character be, and what would your question be?
Okay. Gary Oldman. How are you so awesome?
I agree. Great question.
Did you know you'll be Commissioner Gordon someday?
he is amazing now. Yeah.
He is amazing. I would ask Harrison Ford, why didn't you just play along with him? Because all they were trying to do is free a prisoner, and probably would have saved some people if he just played along. Instead, he went to kick butt mode.
The prisoner was like terrorist, right? It's gonna kill hundreds of
thousands. Yeah, but I mean,
it wouldn't be a
this is before drone
movie.
technology, because then it'd be like, oh yeah, release him, and then like the second they're saying like drone it, boom, 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 boom.
I mean, if it didn't go into kick butt mode, then it wouldn't have been a 90s action film.
It would have been a 90s action film,
right,
but honestly, like I'm just thinking like when it's the president and like so many important people on that plane. I want to say his daughter was on the plane too. I could be.
His wife was. Yeah, both wife and daughter.
So I'm wondering like.
Because I
think
when he
normally the president or even any person would just be like, yeah, bro, no problem. We'll release that dude. Just let us land. We're cool.
Oh, did he put his daughter and wife in that capsule and have that released?
No.
That dropped out and he stayed behind to fight to take over the plane?
No, he gets... He was
he
supposed to leave, but he stayed.
He made the capsule launch, but I thought he got them out too.
No, his kids are...
And then like also like the press secretary, something like that. There was a traitor amongst his midst too, but...
Yeah.
Throwing you the same question. If you could ask any of the characters in your movie, who would it be? And... what would you ask him?
Why do you have to be so extreme? It's like I just want to make breakfast.
Have you not seen Johnny Tsunami?
I gotta make breakfast, but then I gotta toast my waffles with grenades or something. Like they just to the next level.
Oh, they're surfers.
Maybe like how do you get that hair too? So like yeah, I'm bald, guys.
You should just cue in a hello darkness, my old friend.
That's expensive song to cue in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Just keep singing it, Joe.
Then I would teach him. Then I would ask him to teach me how to surf. So I'm gaining from it at the same time. Yeah, definitely.
That skydiving scene's really awesome. They actually put that in World of Warcraft. Too.
Oh man,
that skydiving scene's in WoW.
Oh really?
There's actually a Johnny Tsunami and what's the other one? Not the Johnny Tsunami. That's not right.
Isn't that a Disney movie?
It is.
Like Johnny Utah. No.
But anyways, the two characters, like with mixed up names, are on one of the horde ships, and then there's a mission where you like, and they're all there skydiving off with you.
That's dope.
It is dope.
That's cool. Next one.
Okay, John.
So I have two questions. I'd ask Kevin Costner. One thing he does is since he developed the ability to breathe underwater, he swims down under like a mile of water to get down to the cities like New York City that's below them in the ocean. So he'd go down there and gather remnants of the old civilization. So I want to know what's the most interesting thing you found down there. I imagine he's got a collection like Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Second
Hey,
thing.
I wouldn't put it on there now.
You think he's got gadgets and gizmos aplenty?
He's got it. He's got some. I know he's just got a little bag, but also he lives on a raft and paper doesn't exist anymore because water's everywhere. So my question is, when you poop, how do you wipe? What do you clean with?
You just splash water in your butthole.
Squat over the side of that thing. Yeah, you
so
got a bidet everywhere.
How raw is your ass? That's good. I mean, your butt. Is
I know.
another good question.
Well, I guess.
I think we're cussing more now than ever. When I said we need to make sure we're.
You challenged us.
Yeah, that's such a good movie though.
Yeah.
And the main thing, one thing I love is like, yeah, he goes down to these cities, and you think he'd be like finding gold or whatever.
Yeah.
No, the main most valuable thing in this world is dirt.
Yeah, he
He
brings
goes
up a
down
sack
and
of dirt.
just gets dirt because
Yeah.
it's such a collectible item now.
That's so crazy.
Good
You
good
gotta
question.
watch that movie,
Yeah,
Scott.
yeah, you gotta see
It is a
the
good
scene when
film.
they go on the
It is a
water,
good film.
especially. It's so cool.
Yes.
Good questions that you guys would ask.
Rapids.
One last quick question, since we have a little bit of time, maybe about a minute. Would you recommend your film to a friend, and why?
Oh yeah.
Why or how? Would
Well, I would, except for if any of my friends haven't seen it yet, I'm just not gonna be friends
Squeaks
with them
right
anymore. Yeah. No,
you? Yeah, this is the last time we're gonna see Squeaks ever.
yeah.
Tam?
Would I recommend it to a friend? Yeah, I would recommend it to anybody who's currently a politician, so I could say like, "This sounds done."
This is what it means to fight for your nation.
Anyway, so
Fighting
Point Break, would I recommend it? Yeah, for just dumb, fun action movie.
That one thing I like about that movie is there's no reason for them to be doing 90% of the stuff they're doing. They're
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
more
Exactly.
action
Yeah.
stunts.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
like
What I felt like a lot of our 90s action films were perfect for that. They were just good, die-hard action films.
They're
Like,
just fun movies. And
it was
sometimes you need
sit
that instead
down,
of like a complex, crazy
it was
thing
sit down,
going on.
turn off your brain, and just enjoy some explosions and
Yeah.
people dying
Yeah.
and evil Russian.
And Speed, where a bus can't slow down.
Oh,
It's just
Speed. No, that's great.
I almost put that on my top
Yeah.
five.
It's in my
Me
honorable
too.
mentions.
Gosh.
Man.
Man, this is a tough one.
I can get a coin.
Might have to get a coin here.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with.
Well, hold on. What are you looking for right now? Do you want like a crazy story? Do you want just dumb fun? I mean, what do you want?
You want to give me a?
Go ahead.
You two go. Give me
I just
something.
want dumb fun.
Give me a
Yeah.
minute. Bite it
telling
out.
you,
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm just saying dumb fun. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, you want me to go first, I assume? One thing I really like about Air Force One is it has a clear action hero. You have a character who's not necessarily meant for action. He has a good history with it, but he's not meant for action. And he says, "It's me. I'm gonna save this thing." And I mean, everything can go wrong on a plane, and what can go wrong pretty much does, except for it does stay airborne for a very long time. And he single-handedly, it's basically Die Hard in air. And it's just him saving everybody, saving his family, saving random people.
Okay.
And Gary Oldman. Just going to throw that out there, too.
That's cool, like old story stuff. But how about we get like a little different route for the bad guy sometimes? You know, because we all kind of
You
care
sound
for
like a
him a little
terrorist.
bit.
You're a terrorist now.
I am.
The
Kinda
ex-presidents, man.
like-
I did like their image of when they're robbing
They
banks.
were kind of doing like a Robin Hood, yeah.
Yeah, they had the.
But it's like we want to root for the bad guy sometimes. Now we see that like Planet of the Apes. Do we want the ape to win or the humans?
I always wanted Scar to win. You're saying?
There you go.
Brother.
Yeah. Change our minds on how we who we actually care about.
Great. I do love both those films, actually. Point Break's one that I feel like I've seen probably more than
Yeah.
Air Force One, believe it or not.
Did
But
you
for
watch
number
Air Force One?
Number 4, man, I really like them both. Number 4, though, I'm gonna go with Air Force One.
Oh,
Gotta go with Air Force One.
I did not see the code. I thought
for
No.
sure.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I'm just trying to. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like if I want, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I do feel like Air Force One's a little more actiony here.
Yeah.
So Point Break, I love though.
A little more actually. Oh my gosh.
Well, just a little bit more. What I'm thinking about, just
Purposeful action.
there you go. I guess.
Yeah.
No, just like, hey, let's stop and do a skydiving scene. You know.
Give me.
Yeah, I
one.
can't argue.
Give me
That's
one
what I was
last
saying. It's
serve,
like everything's
bro.
insane. Yeah.
All right.
All right, John, you start us off for our last spot.
My last one.
I'm hungry.
You've said that so many times today.
My last one is hard because it's been
hungry.
a long time since I've seen it. So
I'm trying to, actual clues here. Like, I'm hungry. Feed me.
you got corn dogs, dude. So I can't. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I know I love it. I want to watch it again, but I can't remember the details of the entire plot. But my number 5 is Hard Target. Just another amazing Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. But I'm also like mixing it in my head with like 5 other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. But it was just a good like Squeaks was saying, just kind of zone out and watch a awesome action-packed movie where like he doesn't necessarily need to be karate kicking everything. He
Yeah.
could grab the gun that fell on the ground and just shoot the guy, but it's more fun to just see him karate kick through the walls and shit. So
Nice. Good. Jeff?
I love Hard Target, man. You know I do. But I'm gonna throw in Judge Dredd, which one I think you liked.
With Stallone?
Gosh, yeah, I didn't put that on my list, but as
With Stallone?
With Stallone, yeah. It's Stallone as Judge Dredd.
What year was that?
What, 94?
That was 95.
95.
Yeah. With Diane Lane as his partner. It felt kind of like so if you've seen Demolition Man, it's basically, it's 2 years after Demolition Man. The movie's creation, not necessarily the same storyline. Yeah. It felt kind of like a RoboCop where he was like the sole cop that'll clean up the streets. But back then in Judge Dredd times, you're both the cop and the judge and executioner. Yeah. He's so cool.
You are the law.
Yeah. And so he ends up getting kicked out of the city at one point and having to fight his way back in the city because the city's walled off from the desert surrounding it. Yeah. It's post-apocalyptic future. And it's just awesome. It is Stallone at his best action starriness.
Yeah, it's another one of the movies where they made a really cool looking, like, different version of our society.
Yeah, and then his armor was sweet, and that motorcycle, sweet. And it was just really cool. It was kind of like a Batman city almost. Didn't it feel kind of like a gothic Batman city? Yeah. Really, really
with
good.
With a futuristic twist.
It had a futuristic twist, but I think it was just a super good action movie.
It did kind of have that Tim Burton vibe, though, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
no, it wasn't, but I don't think it was. But it did kind of have that style.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Probably my favorite Diane Lane movie.
Yeah.
Nice. Squeaks?
I'm going to switch it. Just because.
Okay.
I'm not going to use...
You're not going to push Point Break.
No, you killed Point Break now.
I mean,
Thanks.
it was a free number 5 spot, but okay.
I'm going to go Bad Boys. Over Blade, too. Bad Boys.
Bless you. I can make Bad Boys.
You just lost.
Point Break, like, just dumb action, whatever, but Bad Boys had, like, that comedy part to it. It was really funny. I mean, with even Martin Lawrence singing the Bad Boys theme song while they're driving in the car. That was kind of funny. It's a Squeaks and Joe Bear duo. That's what it is. That's what it is.
He went to the bottom of the 3. Now he's fighting for number 1, boys.
It's cool just because, I mean, comedy action done right.
That's my favorite Will Smith. I like when he's in his action films because I think he's a good action.
Yeah, I love him in Men in Black. He's kind of the same thing.
He throws his comedy. I think he's a great comedic actor too. He's really funny.
It was it's like a Rush Hour. You got the comedy, then you got the action. But it was a good blend. I liked it a lot to where it was intense and then relaxing at the same time. You could say.
I forgot all about Rush Hour. God, my list is getting bigger and bigger.
Good picks. John, anything?
I can tell you more. So now that I'm looking it up again and like looking at pictures, like, oh my god, it's such a movie.
So good, those accents, man.
Yeah. So the majority of the plot of it is Jean-Claude Van Damme was hired by this woman to help track down where her dad went because her dad went missing. Right? Come to find out, he was killed in this like game that the rich people play where they pay this like mobster or whatever, and they're given a human target to go hunt. And so now he's trying to shut down this whole corrupt like system that these guys put together, and he's having to fight these these like mobsters and stuff or whatever. They're like a mob. And so it's just action packed because they got power and influence and money, and he's just one man who was a drifter and a gun for hire, and decided he needs to clean up the streets. So TCOB. Plus he falls in love in the process. Just got a little bit of romance in there. Nice. Makes good.
And it's got Wilford Brimley too. I want to throw that out as his crazy uncle.
I was just about to ask who's in this film.
Which one's it?
So Wilford Brimley plays his uncle. He goes to his uncle when he needs help, and like if you don't remember who Wilford Brimley is, he's Mr. Diabetes. Everybody knows him from that. But him and Jean-Claude both have super Cajun accents, and it's kind of like the Con Air thing, where it's like really kind of a bad accent, but they're overdoing it so much that you're into it.
Love it.
You love it. The bad guy is Lance Henriksen. You've seen him as a bad guy in everything else he's done. I don't think he's ever played a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's got Yancey Butler, which you've seen her in a lot of things too. Man, that's a good movie.
Real question, and I'm pretty sure everybody listening wants to know. Can you do any
John-Claude Van
Wow!
Damme.
Can you do any of his nice moves?
I like the peaks.
No,
Nice.
I wish. I mean, no.
No?
You can't do splits over 2 semi-trucks? You ever see that commercial where he did that? Or that video where he
I'm not even talking like his his kung fu-ness. I'm talking about his dance moves.
Oh no.
He's
He's
very good at
I
capital.
would still be.
He's a ladies' man.
I'd still be a single bachelor if I had
Like
John
you.
Claude Van Damme finesse.
Yeah. Sell me on this number 5 spot.
Big Jean-Claude Van Damme back in the day. We used to just anytime he came out with a movie. I remember The Quest.
Yeah.
Anytime he came out with a movie, we went out and rented it from Blockbuster or, more
owned
importantly,
it.
Hollywood Video.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
More importantly.
On VHS tapes.
Every
if anybody knows.
VHS he came out with, we rented out. We went and rented it. It doesn't matter. Looking back, some of them were pretty bad.
Yeah.
My Kickboxers is the most famous, but
So if you wonder why, though, it's because our mom kind of told us as a kid that was actually our dad.
joking around.
Yeah.
So the joke is that Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of our dad. George Strait's another one of our dad, and Troy Aikman's another one of our dad.
Yeah, we got lots of dads.
And our real dad's like, okay, I'm just gonna go make money, I guess, for you guys.
It's like, love you guys. Bye.
Yeah. All right, so my movie's Judge Dredd. Go ahead and start my timer.
We're on the 5-minute timer.
Oh, we're on the 5-minute timer. I'm sorry, my bad. Classic movie is actually from comic books. And they did the padding to make his shoulders look like they're like judge and military padding with the eagles and stuff. It's
and
really
gold
cool.
bars, right?
Yeah.
Gold stripes.
And then one thing that's cool about the way the city is done is it really felt like it was just a lost cause because it was a super tall city and everybody was living up in the higher buildings when you were richer and stuff like that. Lower was real rough. And they had these hovering, flying motorcycles. So they would go down into the slums, and when they actually touched the bottom, you actually felt like it is dangerous down here. And they were literally the only guns in town that were awesome.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider's in that movie. I just remember.
Yeah.
And he's like the comic relief. Yeah.
Is he like back there and just like, oh, never mind.
He's basically, you can do it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No, but he's like this common petty theft kind of guy who
Just trying to survive.
just trying to
this chaotic
survive,
city.
and then Judge Dredd gets in trouble because there's like a conspiracy to get him kicked out because he's the best judge. And so then they're both like on the same like export ship because what they'll do is they'll just drive you out into like a prison out in the desert or whatever. I think you just get dropped off or the plane crashed out there.
Yeah,
And so the two of them are together, and like Judge is like, "Don't worry, the law will protect us," and he's like, "The law got you out of here. How's that
Yeah.
working out for you?" Like
Yeah.
Rob Schneider's just like the realist.
Yeah.
Like he's like, "We'll dive into that fire and we'll stop the whatever torture chamber or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, you do that. I'm gonna stand back here to stay alive. It'll be fun."
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like these robots that like dispense drugs and food and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
he was like hacking into one to get
Yeah.
extra drugs and food and stuff.
But he was mainly trying to hide from the gunfight that was going on in the
Yeah.
hallways in his apartment that he was assigned to
Oh,
stay
let's
in.
talk about those Judge Dredd guns. They're so cool.
Oh yeah.
So
the
that's how he
programs
gets framed. Is the every time the trigger's pulled, it takes like a blueprint or it takes like a fingerprint of the person pulling the trigger, puts it on the bullet, so you know that bullet came from that judge. So every single bullet is marked with who shot it, and then they shot up a bunch of like senators with a gun that was marked for him, but it ended up being a clone. Spoilers. But yeah, it's just so freaking good.
Yeah, I think the best thing about the movie is the world they created for this whole thing to be in. It's just like
And that's one of the great things about adapting from comic books. You have insanely great source material that it's super deep. As long as you can capture a little bit of that, you're safe.
yeah, like you're saying,
Okay,
costume
okay.
is cool too.
Oh,
Squeeze.
the costume's amazing. Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot about these two films.
Yeah, I know. I don't really have much for mine. No, Point Break is Bad Boys is Point Break with comedy, better comedy. I think this duo is better than any duo in any action movie ever. You got Martin Lawrence and him is better than what you're gonna say Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker? No, not at all.
Nobody said that, but
Just saying.
I mean, we go back
What
to
does it do?
Die Hard.
What
That
does it do?
everyone
yeah,
wanted.
let's go with Die Hard.
No, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Even on number 2, they're just the better than Men in Black. They're better than Men in Black.
Wow.
Yeah, saying that their
No.
duo is so fun to watch than any other duo. I'm saying it. Saying it.
I do enjoy
what
them
about
together.
Yeah.
Will Smith and what's his? Oh yeah, never mind. You already said Men in Black. That's what I was like, wait,
Tommy Lee
those are-
Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. same.
Is that an
Hilarious.
action movie?
Yeah, cool. Boring old guy with Will
Sci-fi
Smith.
probably more.
Okay.
That wasn't funny.
Action
in the movie.
sci-fi, I guess. I don't know.
Because then also that'd be on my list.
All right, so good question. And I think it's good to what you just said, so I'm going to ask this to the table.
Okay.
For your
Oh,
movies.
hold on. Since we talk about budget, John likes to talk about budget.
Yeah.
19 million estimated that it took or whatever, but it grossed 65 million and worldwide 141 million. Same.
Chump numbers.
Nothing.
Sorry, it's not Marvel
Yeah.
numbers.
If you're the main character and you got this movie,
Uh-huh.
if you could change it with another actor,
Ooh, this is cool.
would it make the film better? Would it make the film worse? And who would you change it with?
God, these are good questions.
So I'm a character.
That's a good question.
Like we're a character, right?
Your
So
main character
your
in the
main
movie.
character being Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Okay.
Who would you change those two with? Would it make it better? Would it make it worse? And who would you change it with? But how
Basically, Jump 21 or 21 Street or whatever.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah,
that
21
dude
Jump
was
Street.
hella funny.
Those two would be really good in that
God.
role.
We'll start with. We'll go back to the beginning. We'll start with you, John.
So with Hard Target, the whole movie is pretty much carried by not Jean-Claude Van Damme, but his accent, pretty much. So no, I'm kidding. But it's a really good movie. But you could sub him out if you wanted to for like Bruce Willis or
King of action movies, like we said earlier.
who was Air Force One.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. You could put another great action star in there, but it would drastically change the movie. It wouldn't be the same,
So
Louisiana vibe
let's
that
say
you
we
have.
pick. Let's say we pick Bruce Willis. Would
Yeah.
you think would make your film better? You think it'd make it worse, or you think it'd kind of just be like,
I think it'd be the same. It would just be a totally different vibe because he wouldn't do the accent that.
It's that accent. That movie leans on that accent.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines too. You remember when like there's like a hitman that's working with the bad guys.
Yeah.
He comes by to that chunky dude and he's like he like cuts off his ear and he's like,
Randall, when I come back, I cut me a steak.
that line my mom quoted left and right. Yes.
Yeah, he's holding up a knife, threatening this fat guy. I'm gonna cut off a chunk of you if I
How about you, Jeff?
Okay, so for Judge Dredd, there was a remake of Judge Dredd, and it was
I liked it. I
it was really good.
I need to watch this.
Yeah, you remember the guy who plays McCoy, Dr. McCoy in Star Trek, the new ones?
Okay.
He plays Judge Dredd in the new movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Sure.
but if I were to recast Judge Dredd, and I thought the same thing for yours, is Tom Hardy. I just want to put Tom Hardy in everything.
So,
he's
winner.
awesome.
Because Tom Hardy, he's like one of those people that pushes past the costume so you kind of see. Like, I think, I just think he'd be perfect for it. He has the good accent for it. He's dominating. He's one of those guys. So, and not just any Tom Hardy, I want Tom Hardy from Lawless.
Yeah.
You get that version of Tom Hardy in there.
God, I just watched that movie again a couple weeks ago. It was amazing.
How Judge Dredd is that version of him.
Yeah.
That's the perfect version
I
of
like
him.
how he barely even talks. Like, he doesn't even want to open his mouth to say the words, but he says just the few words that you need to know to be afraid. And, okay, I'm going to shut up now and do what he says.
You want to see a really good version of Tom Hardy, too, is Peaky Blinders. He's in Peaky Blinders. He plays the Jewish
I
baker.
tried to watch that.
Well, I really love that show, but he plays this Jewish baker who's actually a mob boss, but the baker part is just the cover.
Yeah.
And he sits there, he talks, he kind of mumbles and stuff like that, but the words you do catch are like, we'll kill your family. Like, it's super awesome. He's super great. But yeah, Tom Hardy.
Also, Idris Elba would be a good... He'd be good in
Oh,
almost
Idris
any
Elba
role.
was just, yeah.
But
Can we get
imagine the power that he would have.
Lethal Weapon with those two.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a duo right there.
I need to write to someone.
I have to do
That's getting tweeted somewhere.
Squeaks? Now, I know you did
I'll
say
keep it
that
old
there's
school,
no
too.
better duo.
I'll keep it old school. And no, just like Tom Hardy, which is just relevant now.
He is a stud. I
he
did
is.
just watch
He is, he
Dark
is.
Knight Rises for my birthday because y'all know how much I love Bane.
Yeah.
But I think if I were to change that duo, I would put Wesley Snipes in Will Smith's spot.
And
I
keep
got
Martin
a
Lawrence.
vampire. Yeah, keep Martin Lawrence. I got a vampire slaying dude.
So you want
Okay.
like
Because Will Smith is
bad
he
boys and
would still be
vampires?
comical?
Or?
Or would he be...
Will
'cause he's
Will
serious.
Smith is that he's like the ladies' man, or whatever. But I feel like a lot of the funny parts I enjoyed was Martin Lawrence's stuff, even in number 2. So if we put Wesley Snipes for Will
I
Smith,
feel
it's
like
kind of more
Martin Lawrence in those films is like the Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith is
Yeah.
like the Rick.
Because it'd be cool to see Wesley Snipes to do some minor funny stuff,
Or to do
but
anything.
being more of the serious.
Yeah.
Well, not now. I mean, back then, yeah, he was
Yeah.
a lot of spots, but yeah, it'd be cool. to see
Demolition
that.
Man. He's the bad guy in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
Was that
good.
is that the cop one? Which one's the cop one?
That's-
Blue Streak.
Streak.
Blue
Yeah.
Streak.
Blue Streak.
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
Streak.
With Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Remember?
Blue Streak. Oh, Blue Streak.
Yeah.
I thought you said Boosters.
No, which one?
Blue Streak.
Is it Blue Streak?
With Martin Lawrence where he's a cop.
Well,
Well,
what about
he
Wesley
plays
Snipes,
the
though?
cop.
Doesn't have
He
Wesley
plays the
Snipes.
cop.
There's Passenger 57 where he's like
I
on a
thought he was
plane
in the
has to
cop
take
movie.
that
Maybe I
over.
am getting it mixed up with.
If you're thinking of Wesley Snipes, then I don't know. Martin Lawrence was in
It's
Blue
called
Streak.
Blade. God, I thought
Yeah,
you were
that's the only one we
that.
should care about.
It's Vampire Cop.
Good answers, good ideas. I'm pretty sure we have some people in the movie industry listening. Like, that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I think we're gonna get a movie
So,
weapon.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I liked them all. Good films. The only one I haven't seen is Hard Target, but I'm curious about it. I do think I want to catch it now.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, as with pretty much all of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, it feels like a B movie with extra money thrown in.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that just leans on. That's the best part about Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. They lean on him
Yeah.
the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's super. It's one of those movies where I keep saying super, but it's one of those movies where it's just like, what will he do next? And you see him just kind of like how back when he was awesome, Steven Seagal used to do things where it's just like, let's just see him fight. That's he's just gonna
The
fight.
best
like
joke
he-
I ever heard was somebody just talking with somebody. He just looks at me. He's like, Man, I'm in the mood for a good Steven Seagal movie. I started laughing so hard, I almost threw up.
Under Siege, all my honorable mentions.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah.
The Fifth Element. You didn't mention any of those yet, have you?
These are all my honorable mentions. I know.
We're saving those for the end. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I like is how, like I said, I've never seen the film.
But it's enticing already, just from a little bit that
it sounded cool, like how you described it. Makes me want to see it.
But you've seen Will Smith and you liked him in this song.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh my god.
That's more to me. That's more.
And then I like how you guys you
No,
said
it's
like
not so
it's
much
like
action.
you got a lot out of it within your family. Your mom, you guys got like 80 dads.
Yeah, something like that.
They're gonna love. If they listen to this episode, they're gonna love
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Like,
Feels good. So for number 5, I think I'm gonna go with Hard Target, just because I'm
I'm totally cool with that.
just
too.
because I'm sold on how bad I want to see it.
Yeah.
I might have it on DVD.
When you were telling me like how,
I do.
like, you know,
Frank has it on
monsters and all that, I don't know, it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Should have just went with Point Break, huh?
You should have. I told you when you. I think I said that at the beginning.
Because they should not
Yeah,
get beaten
freedom.
by.
I said that at the
Force
beginning
One,
when
so.
you were like, I could go with Point Break, but I'm gonna go with Bad Boys. I
was not going to give it to you because it should have been over Air Force One. So
You are the guy.
I'm not gonna
You're
give you
the
that
reason we
pleasure.
have a Tiana role because you fought for Princess Tiana as best Disney
which
princess.
is still one of the best.
I disagree. I
Oh
disagree.
my god.
All right, so let's
Not
go
even
ahead.
in my top 5.
We'll name our 5s here. Number 5, Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Number 4, Air Force One. 3, The Matrix. 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance. And number 1, Terminator 2. Man, those are good. And we have different action stars for each of them. I didn't think that would happen because I have a lot of Keanu Reeves. When I was thinking,
When I did my list, I had a lot of Keanu Reeves myself.
isn't that
I was
funny?
like,
Who would have thought when you look at him like that's not an action star? But you see John Wick nowadays. John Wick is so good. Okay, so I'm gonna go over some honorable mentions. I had Under Siege, The Fifth Element. I had Point Break, but you mentioned it. The Rock,
It should have been on our list.
Heat.
Should have been at
You
least
didn't
number
deserve
5.
it. You didn't deserve it.
Yeah,
You screwed our list.
Heat, Speed,
Speed.
The Fugitive, Lethal Weapon 3. That's my favorite Lethal Weapon. Face Off, Con Air, and I think was Rush Hour in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes.
97. I just
8?
saw it. Yeah.
Rush Hour.
It was later than 90s. Yeah.
Although that one kind of leans into the comedy stuff too much, but
Yeah.
You didn't mention Blade.
Blade, yeah.
Spawn.
That's the sniper. Yeah, Spawn was in the
See,
90s.
but those are talking
As
those
superheroes.
Yeah.
And
I
Blade is actually
was
Marvel.
gonna, I was gonna put Spawn in it too, but I like Blade just was pretty badass action over Spawn because I did like the slaying of all the vampires and he was
Yeah.
like going rogue vampire.
And it didn't really feel like both those don't really Spawn more so, but it doesn't really feel like a superhero movie because
Yeah.
Blade is just he's like another vampire, but
Yeah.
it seems more like a cop.
And that's why I
or,
like that more because I like watching superhero movies and not feeling like I'm watching a superhero movie.
Yeah, like Superman's great. It's got its time and place, but it's cool to see a movie that's more just grounded, I guess.
Rogue.
We try to stay to the timers more than ever, and we're still over an hour.
I
Trying to get us under an
I
hour.
think I didn't realize we only did it no news at the end of the month. I thought it was
Yeah, we just do it.
whenever we have something to talk about. So I figured
Well,
with the
we'll
Comic
toss in
Con,
a 1 or 2, but normally we do it at the end of the month.
that probably put us like up 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm blaming this on you.
Yeah.
So if anybody has advice of how we can shorten this, what part should we cut out? Tell us.
Yeah. So iTunes reviews, we appreciate
Joe's
them.
judging.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
iTunes reviews, if you guys can, that helps us out a lot. We follow us on Twitter and Facebook. They're basically, if you want to just follow one of them, they're both giving the same news right now. And we have the Redbubble store. It'll be in the link. And we have the Patreon, also in the link. Thank you guys very much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for listening to The Top 5. You can find us all over social media. We're on Facebook at The Top 5 Podcast, on Twitter at The Top 5 Cast. We've got a website, thetop5podcast.com. We've got Patreon and Redbubble. We'll have those in the description. If you have any suggestions, hit us up on one of the social medias. Please give us a good rating on iTunes. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you later.